All right, I think we're live. I mean, we're not live, but we
Yeah,
are recording. Hi, Tina. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Mia?
Good. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast today and
Yeah.
talking to us about you as a coach, you as the head of the Girls Gears and Beers group out of Colorado. I wanted to start off just by asking if you could tell us a little bit just about yourself and your background and how you got into mountain
Sure.
biking.
Let's see. How I got into mountain biking was my freshman year of college. I went to the University of Dayton in Ohio, and
Mm-hmm.
I got a mountain bike as a graduation gift for high school. And so I took it
Nice.
with me. Yeah, I took it with me to high school or to college. Rode it around campus, to class. And then I joined. It was called the Mountaineering Club,
Oh,
and
cool.
met mostly guys in the club, and then started doing some rides with them. But it was the trip that we took to West Virginia, and I remember this trip. It was we mountain biked, rock climbed, whitewater rafted, camped, and it was amazing. But I remember the mountain biking because the start of the ride, we climbed like a fire road, what seemed like forever, which I'm very
Yeah.
used to now. And when I was in
Yeah.
California, it's
Yeah.
typical. But then we got to the trail, and I remember the terrain being so diverse. Like it was, we get off this fire road. There was like loamy forest over pine needles and super pretty. And then we'd hit like rock gardens. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
whoa, okay, this is a lot harder. And then we'd come out through like a meadow, and then we were on like almost like the edge of a cliff that overlooked the New River, I think it was. And it was
Mm-hmm.
like, whoa, this is amazing. I felt like I went through so many different types of like environments during that trip. And I was
Right.
like, I love mountain biking. Like, this is amazing. So,
You
yeah,
know,
it
even
started.
with the climb, you still liked it?
Yeah, the climb was like, okay, this isn't that fun. But, had been bike riding for a while, but not specifically on a mountain bike. I
Right.
was like, okay, supposedly there's a trail like that we're going to after this climb. And I was really fit back then. So I was like, this isn't too bad, but it's not as fun as I, had planned. But then it got way better.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I was 18 or no, yeah, 18, freshman year of college.
That's so nice. I
Yeah.
mean, some people get into it late in life, like me. I didn't get into
Yeah.
it till probably, I don't know, like 7 years ago, but really fell in love with the technical aspect of mountain biking like a couple years ago
Mhm.
on a trip to Sedona. So
Nice.
it's amazing. It doesn't matter like how old you are when you discover it, as long as you're having fun, right? I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's the main takeaway from mountain biking.
Yeah.
So you're a coach based out of Colorado.
Mhm.
Whereabouts in Colorado are you?
So I'm in Arvada, which is like just northeast of Golden. So the west
Okay.
side of Denver, kind of northwest
Okay.
side of Denver.
And is that typically where you coach, where you offer your coaching lessons in
Yeah.
that area? Okay.
Yeah. So I typically do my clinics right now at a park in Golden.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I have a permit there. It's pretty low cost to have the permit to coach there. So,
That's
and it's
awesome.
like 10 minutes from my house. So it's really nice because it's also got, well, it's a flat grassy area. So we can do a lot of skill work there. And then one of the trail systems is nearby, and it's like a 5-minute pedal to get to the trail. So it's great. We can practice
Oh,
skills in the park and then go right over and practice, like execute right on trail. So it works
that's
out really
awesome.
well. Yeah.
It's really awesome.
Yeah.
Um, so what is it you like about coaching people? Being a coach, it's like being a teacher. You're
Yeah.
good at it. I'm assuming you're very good at it. So what is it that
I'm
you
getting
like
there.
about it?
So I'm also a physical therapist. So I think being a coach is very similar as my what used to be my full-time career as a PT. We
Mhm.
basically coach people. I mean, physical therapy it's rehab, so it's a lot of
Right.
hands-on, manual therapy, but it's also a lot of fitness and exercise based. And with exercise, it's a lot of like coaching, teaching people, how to change the way they move and use their bodies. And coaching on the bike is basically the same thing. It's teaching people how to move their bodies on the bike and how to position themselves correctly to kind of control the bike better, have better balance, better body awareness. So
Yep.
I think being a PT, moving on from that to becoming a mountain bike coach, has been pretty easy for me because I have the background and exercise background as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it would be awesome because then you know what not to do, right? Or
Yeah.
this is something silly. I literally just thought of this. If you're crashing, Okay.
Mhm.
Say you're gonna you kind of feel yourself crashing. To me, it happens
Mhm.
often.
Oh,
But do you know how to kind of control your body to where you're not gonna hurt yourself as much? Does
yeah.
that make sense? Like
Yeah, absolutely, and I find myself I do this too. I've had a couple close calls where you like say you're going off a jump and you get a little nose heavy, or you're like starting to slide out on a trail. Your body instinctively kind of saves itself, and
right.
and I'm constantly reminded this by my fiance because I've been really kind of pushing my skills lately, especially this summer, like doing bigger jumps, bigger drops, more steep, chunky technical riding. And
Mhm.
he's like, "Well, you've been riding for over 20 years. Your body knows what to do." And as
That's
someone
true.
that's a PT too, like having good body awareness, like when you're in those situations, your body kind of just it reacts to it and you do
Yeah.
save yourself a lot of times. And that's what I
Yeah.
coach a lot of my clients is if you have that good body position,
Mhm.
say you're going downhill and you do kind of get bucked or you start to get bucked by, let's say, a rock or kind of get stuffed, then
Yeah.
your body instinctively should, or well, if you've got the skills,
Should. Yeah.
you kind of lower your center of mass, push yourself away, and then you can save yourself. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's helpful.
I recently took a mountain bike lesson for the first time in July,
Oh,
and to
awesome.
me, it was absolutely eye-opening. Like, I
Yeah,
recommend a lesson to anyone regardless of skill level
right.
because of the amount that you learn, and
Hmm.
I loved it. It was in Sedona. It was with my friend Molly. She's an amazing writer. And
Oh,
just
awesome.
learning the center of gravity that you were
Yeah,
just talking about, like
yeah,
where to center yourself on the bike if you're going to fall forward or back,
right.
or how to, that skill is really, really important. That was just one thing she taught me
Yeah,
out of everything. But
sure.
it really is an important skill, which
Yeah.
is going to lead me to my next question to you. I'm sure you've seen a lot of people that have bad habits, have been riding for a long time, or maybe they're new riders and they're just
Mhm.
learning how to, ride really. How often do you see people with bad habits and how do you approach fixing that?
I mean, people with bad habits, that was like me. Like I started riding at 18 and for I probably 15 years, I never took a clinic. I mean, that was back in the early 2000s. So I rode with guys. They never told me, they never gave me any tips, any feedback. Yeah, not having clinics. Like I developed bad habits because I also did road cycling too. So
Mhm.
I always thought, oh, you have to stay narrow and like hug your hug your seat
Yeah.
and
For
like
like aerodynamics, right? Like
and then,
yeah.
I take a clinic back in I think my first clinic was in 2013 in Los Angeles when I was living there for grad school. And then I learned like, "Oh, no, you're supposed to get wide and like bend your elbows." And I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
Like, why did no one tell me this?" So, and it was I'm sure I don't remember how long it took for me to develop those skills, but I had those bad habits too. And so
Yeah.
I do come across some ladies that I've coached and same thing, they started riding when they were younger. They also rode clipped in, so they had bad habits as far as like using their pedals to pull and not really use their footwork and their body.
Yeah.
So it can be hard to change, but I think once you show them the correct technique and they start to get that repetition, it's not going to change in that first lesson. But then they go and they ride their trails and they're mindful of it and they start to do these things and then they're like, wow, like I did this trail and it felt way better.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I felt that too. Like, I don't think I had a ton. The one bad habit she kept correcting me on was I'd have my index finger and my middle finger
Mhm.
on my brake
Yeah,
lever.
yeah,
And I just couldn't help it. That's just how it
yeah,
was. And I think it's because I wasn't fitted right on my bike. So
yes,
the
absolutely.
shifters were kind of far out and should have
Yeah,
been a little bit more into where my index finger would kind of just cup
hmm,
that like break. I fixed
right,
it, but it was
yeah,
really funny. Like every time we do
yeah,
it, she's like, "You're using your fingers, me," and I was
yes.
like, "Ah."
That's definitely something I see a lot, especially with the newer riders that have just started mountain biking. And like 90% of the time, it is because of the fit, because
Yeah.
they're they're too far out because they're not fitted for women most of the time. And now
Right.
the handlebars, they're huge, and so
Yeah.
it just is natural to have more fingers. But then once we correct that, and then it's like
Yeah.
okay, it naturally falls right on the edge there, um,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
once they're doing a couple rides, it's normal.
Yeah, I ended up fixing it and it felt great. And the other thing you pointed out, which is good, like when you learn how to ride in a different way,
Mhm.
you're aware of it. So we did a lesson right after the ride. I was applying everything I was
Mhm.
taught and I
Yeah.
instantly felt more confident. Like
Yeah,
it was
awesome.
for me, it like clicked. It was like, oh, I
Yeah.
can clear this section. I could do
Right,
this,
yeah.
like
It
it's
wasn't
really
that hard,
empowering.
like, it's yeah, these
Yeah.
little tiny tips, once you realize like, once you learn them, it's like, "Oh, that's not a big deal at all," and easy to
Right.
execute.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's so true. So, what type of coaching programs do you offer for people? And I know you don't just coach ladies, right? You coach everyone,
Mhm.
all types of people, little
Yeah.
kids, adults, teenagers.
Yeah, I coach everyone. I through having Girls, Gears, and Beers, it's mostly been all women. I've coached a
Mhm.
couple guys and a couple kids, and that's something that I plan to do as I continue to kind of pursue full time coaching.
Yep.
The thing I'm struggling with right now is how to break away from Girls, Gears, and Beers with my coaching,
Mhm.
because right
Mhm.
now I'm just advertising to the club through Girls, Gears, and Beers. So if a guy is searching for a mountain bike coach, he's probably not going to find me. So
Right.
this winter, I'm currently trying to think of a business name, and then a
Nice.
logo, and then
Good
eventually
for
we'll
you.
do a separate. Yeah,
And then we'll have to do an updated podcast because
yeah,
like let's get you out there for everyone in Colorado or near your area
yeah,
who wants an awesome coach. Like that's
absolutely.
that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this because I think there women needs to see the variety of different people around that are there to
Yeah.
help them, and I know there's a lot of mountain biking in Colorado. I can't
Oh
wait to
yeah,
come to Colorado. We're going to
yeah.
have to ride when I get over
Oh,
there.
definitely. There's so much here. It's a little overwhelming.
Really?
Yeah.
What's one of your favorite areas to ride in?
In Colorado, I really like Breckenridge. We go there a lot. But Front Range, Colorado has just so much. I do prefer trees over the desert. So
Okay.
Evergreen area has some fun mountain bike trails, probably because that's what I'm used to growing up in Ohio. Kind of
Mhm.
zooming through the trees, rocks and roots.
Yeah.
But I
Oh.
love Sedona, even though that's not close.
I
So
think Sedona's like the mecca, Sedona's
yeah.
probably what, like 10 hours from you?
Uh,
Maybe not that far.
11 or 12, I
Oh,
think.
crap.
Yeah.
It's further out from you than it is from me.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Right.
And a part of me was considering moving to Colorado very briefly.
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe it's closer to Sedona, but
Oh,
no, in fact, it's not. I should have looked at a
no.
map.
Yeah. But you can go to Moab halfway and
Yeah,
then
right?
yeah,
Moab, though.
right.
Yeah.
Get
Oh,
2
there's
trips.
so many
Mhm.
places. So many
Yeah, that's
places
a lot.
amazing to ride. So you mentioned Girls, Gears, and Beers. Can you tell us a little bit about that, what that is, and
Mhm. Yeah.
you're the founding member of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, starting mountain biking back in college, I only rode with guys. I had one friend, a good friend from high school that would mountain bike with me, like, through my 20s, kinda off and on, but,
Mhm.
honestly, I always rode with guys, which was fine, but riding with men, it doesn't really push you, or it didn't push me, and I hear this a lot from the ladies because you think,
Yeah.
"Okay, they're guys, they have they're stronger, more powerful, different body types." So I always wanted to get out of Ohio. Anyone that knows me will know how much I complained about living in Ohio, not having anyone to like do adventurous things with. And so finally I escaped, moved to Los Angeles to attend grad school. And I did meet a women's group there, Girls Gone Riding.
Yep, yep.
Rode with them a couple times. But ended up thinking, California, it's great, but it's not really for me. I had a friend that lived in Colorado who I went to high school with that moved out there for undergrad, and I'd visit her every couple years, and then fell in love with Colorado. And I was like, I'm pretty sure Colorado has better mountains for mountain biking, so maybe that's where I'm supposed to be. And so when I moved here, it's almost been 5 years now. I started a Facebook group, and in Ohio, I was part of a road cycling group called Gears for Beers. And then so I
Oh,
thought, oh, maybe I'll call my mountain bike club in Denver, Girls Gears and Beers. And so I kind of came up with that name, created just a Facebook group, and it kind of grew. I would ride with a couple ladies. Every Wednesday night, we would do like our social ride. And so
yeah.
we meet at a brewery, go ride the local trail, and then finish at the brewery and have beers, food truck, or whatever. and it was a lot of fun. Um, at the start of 2020, I think I maybe had like 200 members in the group, and then COVID hit, and then that year it just kind of it like blew up. And
It
by the end of
exploded.
2020, yeah, I think there was like maybe 1,000 members, and then
Whoa.
yeah, by the end of the year, and then I started to kind of think about, okay, how can I do more with this club? I want to kind of grow it and get people more excited about mountain biking. And then,
Mhm.
yeah, last year gained another like 1,000 members. And right now I think we're up to like 2,700. So it took off super
Dang.
quick.
That's amazing, and out of that insurgence of, I don't know, 1,700 to 2,000 that
Mhm.
joined in the last couple of years, how many do you think are new riders? Women
I
who are
think
totally new to the sport?
I think a lot. Actually, I did a kind of a feedback poll last year, or just a Google form, kind of asking about their involvement in Girls, Gears, and Beers, how they
Yeah.
think things went in various aspects. So I'm curious to ask that question this year. I think it's a lot.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
say maybe like 50% of people have started mountain biking since 2020.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I've seen a total growth too in since COVID. Just in
yeah,
general for people getting outside and wanting to learn to do
right.
something different, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's so amazing. It's so
Yeah.
good. It's so
Yeah, it's
good.
like our trails are packed, but honestly, I don't care. Like it's awesome.
I don't know. I tend to not like super packed trails, but I
Yeah,
get it if it's like for a fun thing.
right.
So that's what actually one of my questions for you that I'd written here. Do you do a lot of social rides? And if so, like are
Mhm.
they scheduled regularly once a week or
Yeah. Yeah, so we do social rides year round. They're always on Thursday nights,
Thursday
just
nights?
because
Okay.
that's kind of what the night I chose 2 years ago. And I'm like, oh, we'll just stick it on this night. Um, so right now, we do weekly Thursday nights, but they're
Mm-hmm.
open to paid members, and I'll tell you about
Okay.
that in a
Yeah.
minute. But then once a month, I think it's going to be the end of the month. The last Thursday of the month is open to anybody, or like
Mm-hmm.
anyone that's in Girls, Gears, and Beers that doesn't necessarily pay for a membership.
Mm-hmm.
And we have trail guides as well. And they post rides also kind of throughout the week on weekends. Some of them can be last minute, but I basically wanted ladies to kind of organize rides, especially because we do have a lot of new riders, people that
Yep.
are new to Colorado. They don't know our trail systems,
Yep.
just to kind of help making
That's
them
really amazing.
comfortable. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really awesome.
That's really great. So yeah, you touched on it. What tell us how so I moved to Colorado. I want to join your
Mhm.
club. Like how do I go about doing
Yeah.
that?
So the easiest way is just to look us up on Facebook. So we're a private Facebook group.
Okay.
And we're super active. Active meaning like, yeah, we do weekly social rides, but we have people posting multiple times a day, just all kinds of things, mountain bike related, sometimes not mountain bike related, sometimes general biking,
Yeah.
gravel biking, road biking, bike packing. But yeah, we're
That's
super
awesome.
active, and like ladies feel comfortable to ask questions, because there are mountain bike groups on Facebook where it's you can be harassed for asking a silly or a stupid question. And I
Yeah.
really love with our club, like people aren't afraid to ask questions, or to seek advice. So it's really awesome that they have a safe spot to do that.
That's awesome.
And
I want
then
to join even though I'm not part of your group.
of
I just want
course,
to join to be
yeah.
part of the community.
Yeah, you can. And honestly, I get people requesting to join. Like I have a lady that just reached out. She's from the UK who's coming over for, I don't know, a
Yeah.
couple of weeks or a month. And she
Yeah.
joined and reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to ride when I'm there. Like, can I join you?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And like she's looking for recommendations for like renting a bike and stuff like that.
That's
So
awesome.
people will come just if they're in town too,
Yeah.
which is
That's
fun.
so good. Okay, so I sign up, I reach out to you, and you mentioned there's a membership. Explain to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I've always since it grew, I was kind of thinking, okay, how can I make this my career, my full-time career? Which would be honestly a dream come true, which is now coming true, which I'm still kind of
That's
like, I know the future, there's still work to do, but it's happening so fast that I'm hoping I can keep it rolling. But one comment I was getting this year from other trail users is that our club is too big. Because for our social rides, we were getting sometimes 30 to 40 people out on the trail.
oof, that is
And
a lot.
some of our trail systems, there's like one main vein to get to all the other trails, and people can clog that up, especially when it's us plus others.
Yeah.
We do break up into groups of 8 and try to
Okay.
space it out, but still, things happen. You can kind of run into each other.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're trying to figure out, okay, how do we manage this? And more than a few people have said you need to start having it paid. Like paid members can attend your social rides. And for a while, like I didn't really want to do that just because I want it to be kind of open to everyone and have people be able to meet people and make friends so that they can go on
Right.
their own rides.
Right.
But then we also have a ton of sponsors that give great discounts,
Mm-hmm.
which is worth like probably multiple thousands of dollars at this point.
Wow.
So people were like, well, why don't you charge a fee? Because I'm putting in the work. So it would be fair to have a separate, separate rides just for paid members, or paid members get
Yep.
these other perks. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
in end of March, early April, I launched paid memberships. And
Nice.
yeah, I got a lot of those to help
What are
me.
some of the benefits that the members get? So you're saying like
Yeah.
you get discounts, right, from sponsors? Like what are some of
Yeah.
your sponsors that you have?
Let's see. We've got one of the local companies to Arvada, actually. It's called Seven Protection. They
Mm-hmm.
make helmets, knee pads, elbow pads that are really great. They're becoming
Yeah.
super popular.
I
They
have
give
it
us
there full
nice.
face.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're probably my favorite sponsor. I go through a lot of their knee pads. Um, and let's see, Wolf Tooth Components is one of our
Nice.
newer ones. PNW Components. Um, Scratch Labs, they're based in Boulder for
That's awesome.
nutrition. Yeah, we have a dietitian based out of Vail, a
Nice.
bike fitter who's in Golden that offers her services. It's going to catch a squirrel.
Was that your dog?
Yeah,
He's a squirrel. Literally,
get
squirrel.
on, buddy.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but yeah, I was just counting today. We've got 25 local bike shops. We've got a few bike shops that offer discounts on bikes, and then service products. A
That's
couple other
amazing. Yeah.
nutrition companies and like clothing companies.
Yeah, that's
So
so good.
yeah,
That's so good. So then
yeah,
the members would get discounts to any of those sponsors that you have
yeah. So
for the group.
some, right, like some they have like just a unique code for members to like apply at checkout, or they go into the shop and
Right.
say, "Hey, I'm with Girls Gears and Beers." Trestle Bike Park, which is here at
Mm-hmm.
Winter Park, it's a really awesome bike park. They give us the industry discount, which is a
Nice.
huge discount for season passes and daily lift tickets. So that's a really nice
That's
perk that we
awesome.
have.
That's
And
so
then
good.
yeah,
I
and then
want to come over there and be
right,
part of your club.
of course, anytime. Yeah, we're year round.
Yeah, that's another thing. So it snows there, right? Colorado, you get
Mhm,
some bad weather in the winter
mhm.
time. Is there any riding at that time over there? Or do you guys at least
Yeah,
get together socially for like beers?
yeah. Yeah, so last winter the weather was great until like the end of the year. So we were riding in December. Come January, I've only been here now. I guess this will be my 5th winter, but last winter was pretty wet. Where I remember the winters before that, usually between like January and March, it'll snow, and then maybe I can't ride for like 2 weeks here in the Front Range. But then
Right.
after that, it melts, and then you can ride again. But I feel like last year it consistently snowed and kept the trails wet, where it was like 3 to 4 weeks where I couldn't ride like my local
Oh,
trails. But
no.
usually about 2 hours south in Pueblo, the trails are dry down there, or Canyon City. So a lot of people go down there when the
Yeah.
trails here are too wet.
Yeah, yeah. That's
But
pretty good though. I mean, you made a point like Southern California or California in general. I'm in Southern California. Where were you when you lived here? Southern
I was in
California.
Manhattan Beach.
Okay, yeah, Southern California.
Yeah.
So there is just mainly a lot of trail riding.
Yeah.
And while I don't mind trail riding, I prefer the fast downhill or technical style of
Yeah.
riding. There
Right.
isn't a ton of that. And correct me if I'm wrong, people who are listening, but I haven't found a ton of just downhill trails. There's a lot of it it's like cross country,
In
but I
SoCal.
still really enjoy it. Yeah, like I'm in Ventura County specifically, and a lot of
Okay.
the trails
Oh yeah.
they're great to train. They're great
Right.
to build your stamina and do
Mhm.
intervals and hills and stuff like that. But I see these amazing videos of women in further south in San Clemente and Laguna
Yeah.
Hills and stuff. Like there's a few women that I've become friends with, Meg and Kelly, and they just
Mhm.
they have such a blast with their group of women down there that I
Yeah.
cannot wait to go ride with
Oh,
them. Hopefully this fall. Although Meg, she suffered a really bad clavicle fracture a couple
oh
days ago,
no.
like
Yeah.
totally ripped off. I'm
Oh
hoping
god.
to have her on the podcast still though in
Yeah.
about a month to do a bike check with her beautiful
Yeah.
SB 150. So that leads me to that question to you. What kind of bike are you riding these days?
So I ride a Pivot Switchblade, which before that I had the Pivot Mach 55. And
Okay.
then after a year of riding that, so when I was demoing bikes, I couldn't decide if I wanted to try the 29er, and then
Mhm.
somehow got talked out of it, got the Mach 55, loved it, but then realized I still have trouble like, pedaling up and over steeper technical obstacles.
Right.
And like I'm 5'9" and a bigger girl, so I'm like I should have gone with the Switchblade in the first place.
Right.
So put in my order in like November of 2020, I think. And it
Mhm.
took a whole year. I finally got it, but it's amazing. So I've been riding that for
No.
the last year.
Oh god, a full
Yeah.
year and I was complaining my bike taking 4 months. So
Right. Yeah. So now I'm like, do I want any other bikes? Do I need to place my order? But no, I love this bike, so I don't plan on getting anything different.
that's
Any
definitely one I want to demo. I actually saw one at my local bike shop over the
Mhm.
weekend,
Oh,
and
nice.
they're beautiful looking bikes. The ones
Mhm.
that they had built though were all larges and extra larges, so none of them really fit
Mhm.
me. But
Yeah.
they were also like $9,000 to $10,000. So they had the top
Yeah.
of the top
Oh, yeah.
components and stuff
Yeah.
on there. It was just so I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm gonna build something for next downhill season, next bike park season, and I don't know what's going on
Oh,
with my
awesome.
hand yet. I see the surgeons
Oh,
soon,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
but it's like it's I want to try that the Switchblade. What's the
Yeah.
travel on that bike?
160, 140.
Okay, that's not too
Yeah.
bad. That's a
Yeah, I
really
think
good in
it's
between.
perfect.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mine's 130, 150.
Okay.
So it's not too bad.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
love my bike actually.
Yeah.
For what
What
I
do you
do,
have?
I love it. I have a Revel Rascal.
Okay. Yeah. I've been hearing a lot about those too.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
playful. It's the best bike I demoed when I was looking
Yeah.
to upgrade.
Oh,
It
nice.
was really although I didn't really get to I lied. I did get to demo a Yeti,
Mm-hmm.
an SB 140, 130, I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
in Sedona, and I absolutely love that bike to a point
Yeah.
where I was thinking like, "Oh, should I have gotten the Yeti and not the
Right.
Revel?" You know, like I was
Yeah.
questioning myself. So that's why I
Yeah.
think for my enduro bike I might do a Yeti, an
Yeah.
SB 150. So I don't know. I have to test it out. You know, when you're spending so much on something, you
Yeah.
gotta.
You gotta try it a couple times. Try others like in the same week. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was hoping to do that at Rome and Sedona.
Mhm.
Hopefully, again, hand will
Yeah.
just need a cast for like 3 weeks, but
Yeah. That's
um, I'm hoping to try the Revel rail out
yeah.
there, and I think they're gonna have pivots as well, so I might try
Yeah.
that. But
Nice.
we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
That'll be
So,
fun.
how can people contact you for either coaching or to be part of your group? I think you said for the group
Mhm.
is Facebook, right? Find Girls, Gears, and Beers on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah, if they have Facebook, we're also on Instagram, just at Girls Gears and Beers, and then the
Yep.
website girlsgearsandbeers.com. And then some people contact me through the website, through I don't know, contact us form, or just
Okay.
email
Yep.
girlsgearsandbeers@gmail.
And I'm going to put all this information in the description of the podcast and the YouTube video so people can find you super easy.
Yeah,
I also do have you up on our website, the Women's MTB network. And then when you get your coaching off the ground officially, when
yeah,
you have everything set, logo and all, just send it to me and I'll put you up there too. So
okay,
I
yeah,
think that'll be a good way
yeah,
to,
awesome.
just extra
Mhm.
exposure, extra
Yeah, yeah,
exposure.
because right now it's all on the website. I've got just I think it's coaching and then a coaching calendar. So kind of
Yeah.
general information about pricing and all that on the coaching, and then the coaching calendar has any of my like small group clinics that they can
Mm-hmm.
find dates and information there.
Okay, yeah, that'll be good. I'll post that link to that as well.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to ask, can I place, I think I've asked you this before, but can I
Mhm.
place all your upcoming rides on our website too?
Oh yeah,
I'm trying to
yeah,
get this events page going every
yeah. I
month so
saw
people
that.
can like find a bunch of events as they go. And
Yeah,
I know you guys
absolutely.
have a ton of really cool stuff always coming
Yeah.
up. It's been challenging for me honestly to stay on top of everything,
Oh, I
although
bet.
Becca, I I met Becca online on Instagram. I did a
Yeah,
podcast with her last week, the
yeah,
clothing one, and she's absolutely amazing. So she's going to start helping me with stuff as well.
yeah,
But it's a
awesome.
lot. I found,
Oh, yeah,
working full time and
I
all
can't
this stuff has been hard.
yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, I'm not working full time right now, and I'm just trying like, today I was trying to do some updating to the website, and I'm like, "I am not good at this." Like, I feel like I should hire somebody, but then it's like, "No, I have the time to do it." I just
Yeah.
yeah, it's overwhelming.
Yeah, it really is. It's a lot
Now,
of work. It's a lot of
yeah.
work. Thank you so much, Tina, for coming on the
Yeah,
podcast.
thanks
I
for
really
having me.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Is
and
there
congrats
something
on
else?
launching
Thank
the
you.
website. It's
I mean,
awesome.
it's starting small, but you got to start
Oh, yeah,
somehow, right?
it's gonna grow fast.
Do you have anything you wanted to inform people who are listening just about your group or your coach that we haven't covered?
Yeah. No, I'm kind of winding down for the season, but I did just recently offer up some dates, some clinics this coming weekend, Friday, and then the next 2 weekends I've got some clinics coming up. But
Okay.
again, it depends on the weather. And then Girls
Awesome.
Gears and Beers is going to be out at the Betty Bike Bash race this coming Sunday,
Oh,
which
I
is
heard
super
about
awesome.
that.
Yeah, it's a huge like women's only race in Lakewood, so not
I
too
gotta
far.
I gotta put that down too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna let you go because I know it's getting kind of late over there in Colorado. Thank you so much again.
Oh, yeah,
And
you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
have an awesome time this weekend with
Yeah,
both,
I will.
the race and coaching and
Yeah,
everything.
I will.
And we'll catch up soon.
Okay, thanks. Nice to
Thanks,
chat.
Tina. Have
All
a good
right.
one.
You too. Bye.